Hi, I'm Bruce Wards. Thanks so much, everyone, for stopping by to check out my research, the interest. And I want to start off by saying welcome, first of all, to Mr. Scott Schroeder Sr. Thanks so much for the support. And to Scott Schroeder himself, father and son. Guys, I love you so much. The support, the message that you guys left with the contribution is absolutely amazing. I'd have to go through all those messages. It's absolutely amazing. You guys bring me to tears sometimes, and I love you guys for it. Thanks so much for the support. Let's go see some UFOs. Right off the bat, we're looking at an object. First of all, oxygen blue line. Could it be possible? And thanks for reminding me. A community member told me sodium. It's related. When you see yellow, it could be sodium. The blue could be the oxygen. All these colors are, written in science as this community member mentioned. And thanks for suggesting it again. I talk about the oxygen blue line a lot, but I have not mentioned the sodium, the relation to it, the yellow we are seeing right on the surface. So these UFOs are roaming around the surface. But people want to see these big crafts and stuff. And don't forget, when we say the term UFO, so long me, if I was to see a spaceship, I would say this is a spacecraft. I wouldn't be calling them UFOs. It still could be a spacecraft. Most likely it is. But we see a bar, a straight line of some kind with its shadow on the surface. And that's the interesting part for me. See, it just went inside of a crater. The interesting part is that if we're seeing a shadow, it's that it is close enough to the surface or of course, maybe far from the surface, but it would be pretty big. And for me to be able to see it, I can see a mile wide, that is for sure. I can see half a mile wide, and I can also see a quarter mile wide. If I zoom in, I can break that quarter mile wide a little more. But again, those who have telescopes know that telescopes make little craters, the craterlets, if you want. There are many of them unseen on the surface, and the closer you get in, they oscillate, they appear and they disappear literally. Some people ask me, why, when you go back to the same areas, like around Plato Crater, Sinus Iridum, etc., Bianchini Crater, that you don't see the structures all the time in your footage? I said, absolutely. The line of light and darkness is what tells us the truth, what shows us the structures, because the shadows reflect, clashes with the light, and it dims down that grayness that blocks us from seeing the surface, because the structures have the same reflectivity as the surface, and permits us to see the structuring that is towering off the surface just by those shadows, the shadows around them, giving us signs of the contours of them and what they look like. And some of them really do look constructed, and seeing objects in unison side by side, you just wonder what they are. Could these be storms? Why am I saying that? Because it is at least a mile wide. So if I was to zoom in really close with a bigger telescope, well, this would be half the size of the page, and it would be, what are we looking at? We're seeing lights inside of this cloud, haze, or mist moving around. And me, I just don't want to rule things out. It could be a UFO, it could be a spacecraft, it could be a biological creature. Why not? Why rule all these out? But it remains that what I'm finding, it's neutral. I'm not saying remaining stuck on one thing. We can't. We don't know what's up there. I believe if ever there is an entire disclosure, an alien disclosure, if it could exist one day, right? I don't think it would come from anyone else aside from us, the people. I think that at one point, yeah, we may clash, we always do, but it will open the minds of others and the eyes of others that are religious. And I welcome everyone here, religious or not, spiritual or not. It doesn't matter. Skeptical or not. It doesn't matter. As long as you guys see what I'm getting. And all of you must know, and I'm telling you, that these objects were never talked about. And I'll tell you even more than that. Look at the triangle there on the crater coming up. We were told that there was nothing up there. And I'm sorry, but there are not thousands of satellites, supposedly, anyways, not announced to the world that are around the moon. I think there's only 4. And look into it. I'm not telling you a lie. Just look up basic information. These objects that we're seeing on the surface moving around are UFOs, unidentified flying objects, that could be constructed objects that were, could have someone driving them, that could be controlled, whatever. But it leaves us, room for exploring that. Just a change of subject. You guys wondering why Elon Musk went private or is going private? Is it even true? You never know what's rumors or not anymore. Been hearing about a lot of all these new space projects and programs that are supposed to open up, but we have yet to see them come out. Notice we're seeing changes all the time. Things are projects are being set back, but guys, there's a lot being done in space right now by many countries, space forces from many countries. I mean, something big is definitely happening, without declaring anything that I know. I know that for a fact. It has to be. It's out there in the news. Everything's exploding. We should be all watching this. A very pronounced line around the outer limits of the moon that we can see, and Crow 777 has talked about that wave. Of course, it's very clearly seen. You can see it, and it's going around. There are different types of waves on the surface. That's for sure. Crow 777 was studying some various types of them, and obviously it's because he caught them, right? And they're exquisite captures. But there are many different types of waves and forms and shapes, and some still not detected. I really believe there are some still not detected. These UFOs, I'm finding them left and right, and this one even looks square at one point. They're all over the surface. They really shouldn't be there because they've never been declared by any scientific institution anyways. So what are they doing there? And who or what are they? Are they crafts? Are they satellites? Because satellites aren't that big. They really are not that big. And gosh, are they ever thin? So would we see them? I don't know. But all I know is that we're seeing something, and its shadow is on the surface. So it's pressed up against the lunar surface. Now we're zoomed in really close now, and look at these little objects. Ejecta does not in any way climb over mountains and make bridge-like objects. That's why I call these objects paths, corridors. We see colors on the surface. Yellow is a theme also. We see that yellow, passes off for the chromatic aberration, etc. But they're around certain craters and they remain there. So is it sodium? This is, again, just my hypotheses, just out of the box thinking. There's nothing wrong with it. The deep constellations, seeing stars through a crystal. Right now, this is regular lens, and just to show you the detail. See, sometimes I'll present a star and someone says, it's impossible. You can't get that close. You can't get it that clear. You can't see the colors. And I really can. The way I'm getting these objects is that they are far away, but I am able to show that if I get a clear image, even though it's far away, able to magnify it. My goal here is always to magnify without changing the actual look of the photo itself, to try to gain a bit more, a broader view of the surface or the surrounding objects. Think of it, there are hundreds of thousands of stars around this star that we can see now that usually I could not see if I was zoomed out. This tether-like object, have you ever heard of stellar bars? It doesn't mean it's a stellar bar, but stellar bars, what they are massive compressed gases that have been around so long and they're so thick and dense that they create solid surfaces. Imagine sanding this off, leveling it off, and creating a landing strip. Very possible. Double binary star systems. Absolutely amazing. And I was able to capture it very far away, get it in close, and watch with the crystal. Really take a look with the crystal. You can really see the intensity around these like neutron stars. Do you understand how strong the light and the energy and heat would be around these stars? The surface has so many objects that look constructed and that I believe are constructed. You can tell very easily just using common sense. You don't need to be a scientist to know that the surface of the moon has been manipulated or is still being manipulated. How could it still be manipulated, some say? It hasn't changed. The structures having the same reflectivity as the surface of the moon itself means they could build, destroy, demolish, change, add on, take off, whatever they want to the surface, and we would never see it. Well, of course, unless zoomed up this close, but even this close, the smaller structures are still not yet seen. This part of the video is for my buddy, Jackson Rip Holmes. Rip, you know, there are buildings up there, structures, and probably even shopping malls, and here's just another part, bro. Rip, you gave me a lot of encouraging support and some good advice, and you know, insisted me on talking to Carrie Cassidy, amazing sweet person I met not too long ago on Project Camelot, who knows a lot about the related findings that I'm finding. And you know, you really are a part of the team. Jackson Rip Holmes, you contributed in helping me spread the word, the good word, right, of the research that I'm finding, just raw truth on the surface. And Jackson Rip Holmes, I really want to help you, and along with everyone who is helping this channel and interested in it, thanks so much for the support, and welcome everyone. We think